Hey, welcome everybody. Brian Horvath here with another edition of LinkedIn Live Q&A. It's Wednesday, it's August 10th. We're in back to school mode and we got an exciting back to school kind of episode for you here, how to be a go-giver with LinkedIn. Today we're going to talk about the book The Go-Giver and how you can use the principles, the laws in The Go-Giver to make a great value-added effort with LinkedIn, the world's largest professional network. Today we're going to talk about the law of influence. But before we get into all that, just want to welcome you, those that are watching on Twitter, on YouTube, on LinkedIn, Facebook, all kinds of places. And so excited that you're here with me and looking forward to imparting upon you wisdom and encouragement and just empowerment, things that I've been learning that I want to share with you, and things I've been seeing trending on LinkedIn, or sometimes I wish they weren't trending on LinkedIn, but just to be able to share with you and really help us to make the right connections on the world's largest professional network by seeking to serve, by seeking to add value, by being generous, by being a go-giver. That's what this is all about this week. So let's go ahead and jump into today's opportunity to learn, to live, and to grow and go together. So today we're going to talk about how to be a go-giver with LinkedIn. You see it right there in front of you. Part 3, the law of influence. This is inspired by a book you can see right there on your screen, a nice parable book, very thin, very nice and easily read in a story format, from The Go-Giver by Bob Berg and John David Mann. And it's been really encouraging to me. I've never read it before until now. I'm on my second reading of it, until upwards of a couple months ago, but definitely in 2022. And it's something that had been recommended to me by a mentor, Bill Morris, for many years, and I just never found it. But alas, I found it in our bookshelf. We had it already at home, my wife Becky and I, and so been able to dive into it, and so much so I've been encouraged and inspired by it. Been able to lead my men's group, my men's leadership group that meets every Wednesday morning at 7 a.m. here in Tampa. We've been going through it together and really unpacking the principles and how we can sharpen each other and grow together in our businesses, in our marriages, and our walk with God, and our relationships in our community, and so on and so forth. So I'm excited to share that here with you and to be able to help you make a difference with regards to what you're learning, what you're going through, and going to use LinkedIn for here and throughout the days to come. So let's go ahead and jump into what we're going to do here today. Again, how to be a go-giver with LinkedIn. There it is. The law of influence is what we're going to talk about. Your influence is determined by how abundantly you place other people's interests first. By how abundantly you place other people's interests first. That's the law of influence. Law number 3 from the book The Go-Giver, which is the subject of our conversation today. I need to pull something up here real quick before we jump in to, let me find my little notes here. There we go, got them. Okay, cool. So the law of influence, law number 3 in the whole book, is really encouraging because obviously we all have an opportunity to be influenced by media, by people around us, by father figures, motherly figures, mentors, co-workers, bosses, you name it, wherever you're at, and teachers, and maybe you're in the military and you're been inspired by or motivated by or kicked in the tail by your instructor, or whatever the case may be, right? So we all have the opportunity to be influenced and to be influencers, and today I'm going to share with you how to exactly do that with how to be a go-giver with LinkedIn, part 3 of the law of influence. Okay, so this is inspired today, or excuse me, this is sponsored by today, my free guide that I created just for you, just for people like you and for like me, whether you're in school or getting out of school, or whether you're in job transition or career transition or a crossroads in your career. Or maybe you're even just thinking, you know what, I'm not happy where I'm at anymore, and I really want to get my LinkedIn profile bolstered and jumping off and on point, whatever you want to call it. This LinkedIn profile quick start guide will help you do just that. I used to do LinkedIn critiques, and I would do a 7-point critique, kind of like a checkup you would get at an auto dealer, right? When you go in to get your oil changed. And of course, they always seem to find something wrong. But in this case, we always have an opportunity to do better with our LinkedIn profile, all of us, myself included. And so I put together a framework, a 7-step framework, 7-point framework for you to be able to do a self-analysis and kind of diagnostics check on how your profile is, and ultimately helping you to be more successful with it I want to put together I put together a quick start guide so you can make the right connections on LinkedIn based on what you want to be known for, how you want to serve the marketplace, how you want to add value, and making sure that you have checks and balances on your profile and buttons pressed, if you will, levers pulled, so that you're found by the right people, the people that need you, the people that want to hire you or want to partner with you. And so you can get this free guide to help you walk you through this whole process at brianhorvath.com/LinkedIn-quick-start. So you can get that right there, and it's a free download and all that good stuff. You get it instantly. So I really encourage you to check that out if you haven't received that already, you haven't gotten that already. It really is a fun, easy to understand guide that you can make happen, you can put to work today. Not a lot of reading, it's a one-pager, it's a quick start guide. So really encourage you to check that out. And of course, every single week I do these LinkedIn Live Q&As, barring any issues. Recently, my mother-in-law passed away and went to be home with the Lord, and has kind of thrown some wrenches in our schedules with regards to that. But thankful that Mama Dean is home and resting in peace and not hurting here on earth as she had been for a couple of years now. But we're back on the train here, back on the trail and ready to roll. And so every single week you can ask me your questions on LinkedIn about LinkedIn, how to use it, ins and outs about new features, bells and whistles, things you have questions about that have been back burning in your mind that you haven't maybe got answered yet. I encourage you to go to bit.ly/LinkedIn Ask Brian, and you'll be sent to this little form, looks just like this, where you can get your question answered. And I just want to encourage you folks, no one's going to see these questions but me. And I'll respond to you on email probably before I'd ever share them on the show. But other people could benefit from you leading yourself well by asking the question and getting the answer, but also leading others by getting that question asked that I guarantee other people want to know the answer to. So step up to the plate, my friend, ask your question, get help yourself, and then help somebody else by asking that same question. So you can go to, again, bit.ly, a little leak shortener there, bit.ly/LinkedIn Ask Brian. You'll be sent to this Google form, and you'll be able to ask your question there, and it'll get emailed to me so I can respond right away. Again, every single week we have a LinkedIn Live Q&A. You can watch it on YouTube, you can watch it on Facebook, LinkedIn itself some days, Twitter as well. Every week at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, I'm here for you to give you a little training, little coaching, little encouragement, little equipping, and then be able to answer your questions as well. And also, for you to be notified really quickly about any new video I post, I also do LinkedIn 2-minute hot tips on Fridays. You can get notified by YouTube when you subscribe to my YouTube channel. So if you have a YouTube account, you can have a free account, don't need to have a paid account, to subscribe right there on my channel and get my channel reminded, or get updated on when new videos go live on the channel. So I encourage you to subscribe today for free at brianhorvath.com/YouTube. It really is my heart, my friends, to help you know, live, and love the purpose for your career in finances. And LinkedIn is one of those tools, and YouTube is one of those tools to help me get this information out to you. So when you like and subscribe to videos, it really helps me get more videos out to you and to others. So I really appreciate you doing that, and I'm thankful to be able to share with you the things I'm learning and the things I'm willing to share with you to help us all grow and go together in our purpose. So how to be a go-giver with LinkedIn. We're going to jump into the content here for today. How to be a go-giver with LinkedIn, and we're going to talk about the law of influence. And again, I want to remind you, if you could go ahead and put in the comments your question. If you want to go ahead and put in the little dialogue box, whatever you want to call it, and wherever you're watching this, you can ask your questions right here and now. And I have a little thing that pops up on the screen that lets me know that the question you have has been asked, or any comments or any feedback, or if you're like, no, Brian, you're crazy, whatever the case may be. I'd love to get that. So go ahead, let me know you're here. Let me know where you're from if you're watching online now, obviously. But even if this is recorded later, or you're watching the recording for later, let me know where you're from. I'll still get updates on that and still be able to see just how far wide we're able to get this information out there to you. And also use that same dialog box or same chat window, wherever you're at, whether on your mobile phone or on your computer, to ask that burning question as well. You can use the forum on Google, or you can use the comments window with the chat box. So a little backstory. I've been sharing this backstory for the past couple of weeks about why we're here, why we're doing what we're doing, and it's from a book. Well, first of all, let me back up. I love sharing with people how to use LinkedIn professionally, how to use LinkedIn effectively, how to use LinkedIn to make a difference in the world, sharing with people who need most what we all do best. And I think there's a great value in the world's largest professional network, but I think there's also a lot of take, a lot of I need, a lot of help me. And I want to break those chains of beliefs. I want to break those habits. And I really want to help us use LinkedIn in the professional manner that it was intended for, to really help professionals connect, to help professionals share and add value to one another, to help professionals be able to work together and collaborate, and to help people get across get out their products and services where it makes sense, as it makes sense. But there's a right way, I believe, and a wrong way. And definitely we've seen, as LinkedIn has grown over the years, a wrong way to do things. And honestly, we can learn a lot more from the wrong way of doing things. And so the backstory here is to having the right heart, having the right attitude and mindset to be a go-giver in life, in our career, in our marriages, or our relationships, in our communities, to seeking to serve others first. Just so cool about this week's Law of Influence, law number 3, and I'm really fired up to share it with you here in a second. But the backstory is also that a group of us, me and my men's group, got together and started dissecting this book and really looking into where we've done well with this information, where we've been challenged with this information, how we've been able to really take a pause and be patient about how to seek to serve others in the marketplace, and again, in our relationships, in our communities, at our churches, and so on and so forth. And so the backstory here is going like, you know what, I got an idea. Why don't I share some of the nuggets of this book, some of the learnings I've had, and be able to use LinkedIn as a place to apply them, right? Knowledge unapplied or not applied, it's like not having knowledge at all. So let's go ahead and use this knowledge, use this wisdom, the best of the best put in by the authors, Bob Berg and John David Mann, into this little parable, this book called The Go-Giver, and let's apply it to the world as we know it. Let's not wait. Let's not sit on it, okay? So here it is. Here's the source of some of the content I'll be sharing with you, some of the dialogue, some of the conversation we'll be having today and in the next couple weeks, and some of the conversation you can check in. Excuse me, when I get a water, some of the conversations we've been having in the past couple weeks in the other laws, which I'll share with you in a second. So I'm going to bridge the gap between when we started and where we're at today. But I really want to encourage you to check out this book, The Go-Giver. I don't, I'm not a representative of the book. You can get it on the Amazon store, and if you buy it on Amazon, great, I might get a penny or two, but that's not the whole purpose. The whole purpose is get the book, dive into it. I think you'll love it. And if you do want to get it at Amazon or Barnes & Noble, of course, go to Amazon.com or BNN.com, or go to your local bookstore, or even a used bookstore, because this book's been out for some years, but the principles are solid. The principles don't change regardless of the time when this book was released. But I really encourage you to check it out. And you can read it in like a couple hours at most, if you definitely want to just get the story framework and outline. But if you want to go back and dissect it, it'll take a couple more hours to really draw out the nuggets. So here is a little backstory, or a little, like, I guess, where we've been. And law number 1 was the law of value, or is the law of value. And it says your true worth, my true worth, our true worth is determined by how much more you give in value than you take in payment. And that's law number 1. We won't get into all that, but these laws somewhat build on each other. That's law number 1. Law number 2, we did a few weeks ago with my crazy schedule. It's been a little off, but the law of compensation. The law of compensation says your income is determined by how much or how many people you serve and how well you serve them. Your income is determined by how many people you serve and how well you serve them. And that's what we talked about in the last LinkedIn Live Q&A, where you can go to my YouTube channel and watch the video from that. It's on there for you. So you can pick up where we left off. Now, you might be saying to yourself, okay, LinkedIn, get it. Want to improve on it. That's why I'm watching this. That's why I'm checking this out live or in the future on a recording. Or, you're going, all right, I get the Go-Giver, but how does this all tie in? And this is something my men's group and I even chatted about as early as this morning, is that it's really about our attitude. This whole Go-Giver book is a paradigm shift opportunity for all of us to take the eyes off of ourselves or what's right there in front of us and take a risk in looking beyond ourselves, putting ourselves second, being humble, thinking of ourselves last, however you want to call it, and create an attitude or let an attitude take root or take shape that dictates or helps us with our action. And for instance, there's something I teach in my financial courses and even in my LinkedIn courses, digital courses that I have for sale, is that it's kind of what I call the legacy ladder. And ultimately, all of us cares about leaving a good legacy. I think all of us care about doing a good job. Well, definitely all of us on this video. If you didn't care about that, you wouldn't be trying to invest in yourself here today by watching and participating today. And again, I thank you for doing that because we all lift each other up when we're together learning and growing together. But our attitude is really dictated right by our thoughts, because our thoughts, continual thoughts especially, breed actions. And in those actions, over time, the same actions that originate from our thoughts create habits. And those habits are kind of like a runway or a groove in our brain. And over time, those habits get seen, they get recognized, they get noticed, they affect people, including ourselves. And then all of a sudden, not all of a sudden, but over time becomes our identity. You know, how we're known, how people know us. So someone would say Brian Horvath, and there would be like a word, kind of a word association. What would people say about me? Hopefully not jerk, egghead, moron, goofball, impatient, angry. You know, hopefully it's more about, oh man, he's a go-giver. Or he really is something, he really serves, or he adds a lot of value, or he's mentored me or helped me get over the hump in my finances or my career, or he really put together some things those are tools that really help me realize my purpose. And see, that's a legacy that I want to leave, a positive legacy for my kids, for my kids' kids, for my community, in my workplace, in my company, with my clients, and so on and so forth. So how about you? Well, LinkedIn, think about this, is a digital footprint, right? LinkedIn is a digital footprint. What we put on there and what people say about us on there really is an online identity. And really, if we keep going on the track that we're on, hopefully you like the track you're on, as we leave this world, that's going to become a legacy, how we would be known. And so I kind of do that every once in a while when I'm looking to work with a new client maybe or a prospective partner. I'll scan their social media, or I'll run down their Facebook, reels, or their Instagram reels, or run down their Facebook posting, just to kind of get an idea of what this person's identity is. Because social media can say a lot for those that post on it, and the highs, the lows, the ups and downs, and the all-arounds. I really want to encourage you with LinkedIn. What are people saying about you? What would they say about you if they saw your posts? If they saw your content, if they saw what you said about others, or what you say about yourself, even within your different sections that are of utmost importance on LinkedIn. Is this the legacy that you want to leave? And the cool thing is, if it's not, we have the opportunity to change it. If it is, we have the opportunity to keep going and growing in it. So just want to set the stage for that with regards to LinkedIn and how we can use this go-giver idea, this go-giver mindset, and this mentality and this idea to help us through. So really want you to wrap your mind around the fact that this is an opportunity for equipping and encouragement and empowerment for you to change how you're known. Again, the legacy ladder. Our thoughts become our actions. Our actions build habits. It's a trail that we run on, or the track that we run on. Those habits foster and form an identity, how we think about ourselves and how others think about us. And then over time, we leave that legacy behind of what would people say about you when you're gone? What would people say about me when I'm gone? And so that essentially is really what I want us to think about when we lean into today's law, which is the law of influence. Part 3, how to be a go-giver with LinkedIn. Think about the law of influence. Now, let me take a breath. Let me take a drink of water. And let's let you think about that for a second. Where are you at? Where would you like to see yourself make some changes? Is it your thoughts, actions, habits? Go ahead and put that in. If you're listening here live right now, put it in the chat box or put it in the comments where you can. And if you're listening to it in the future, go ahead and put that there too. This is as much for you to get it out as it is for me to see it. More for you than for me, actually. What would you like to see changing in your life? Thoughts, habits, or thoughts, actions, habits, identity? Let me know. Terrific. Terrific. Think about it. A lot of us can pretty much jump right to the answer. Some of us may need to take a little bit more time, and some of us may be a little sheepish about sharing this online. I get it, wherever the case is. So think about it. Maybe write it down on a post-it note next to you or something to that effect. But participate in this journey with me. So let's look at the law of influence. You really want to take time to develop this attitude. It is an attitude. And you are influencing people, whether you are thinking about it or not. You're influencing people. Self-talk, the things you say to yourself and the things you let manifest in your mind, is influencing you. And as your thoughts are influenced, that breeds action. So think about that and how we can lean into this next part of today. So let's read one more time. The law of influence is your influence is determined by how abundantly you place other people's interests first. That really will help you make a great impression and impact on the world around you. You know, as simple as seeing the door about to close on somebody that has their hands full. Be influential, hold the door. Right? Think about, yeah, you're busy, you got stuff to go do, but as small as that, even hold that door for somebody. Right? Let somebody go ahead of you in traffic. Yes, I just said that on video. That's a struggle for me sometimes, right? I got my lane, I'm riding it, I'm going places, I'm thinking about my next stop. In this case, it would be great for me to see around me, look in the left lane and the right lane, just see opportunities to serve people. I know it sounds silly, but it's true, right? It really dictates, just even how we feel about ourselves. And I have an example here. Years ago, I worked at a church called Grace Family Church in Tampa, and I got to lead a course called Financial Peace University. And this was probably my couple years into this job and this role that I had. And Financial Peace University is about helping people make common sense with their dollars and cents, if you will. God's and grandma's way of managing money. It's basically learning how to save and spend and give and do it intentionally and with financial freedom as a great goal. That we don't have to be managed by money, but we have the opportunity to manage money, right? Okay, so that's my little commercial for Financial Peace University. Check it out if you've not seen it before. It's great stuff. But one of the years we got together with our, I think it was 9-week semester, and we came up with a theme that was kind of like a farming theme, an agrarian theme. And it's basically, we gave everybody, every group leader, a pot, one of those little pots that you would get at like a Lowe's or Home Depot or a garden store or whatever. And we gave them a little bit of soil, and then we gave them some seeds. And I forget what plant it was, but a little plant that wouldn't go crazy and grow, and take over the world. It wasn't a Jack's Beanstalk or anything like that. But we gave them some seeds. And the whole task was, the whole opportunity or idea is that through this financial journey, as people are trying to change their thoughts, change their actions, change their habits, create a new money identity, if you will, a new financial identity, was to not plant the seed, or excuse me, back up. It was to by the end of 9 weeks have, a pretty good amount of change, at least in their mindset and their attitude of how they were going to manage their money from here on out. For some people that meant cutting up their credit card. For other people that meant just saying no to purchases, or maybe slowing down on eating out, whatever the case may be, okay? For some, it's just maybe people need to be more generous with their money as opposed to holding it on like a miser, like a Scrooge. But all in all, the whole theme of the pot and the plant, or the seeds and the soil and all that, was to give them the understanding that this is going to take time. And just like you wouldn't pot a plant or plant a seed in the ground and then 2 days later pull out the root system to see how it's growing, or pull out the seed to see if it's even broken open to take hold of the soil, you wouldn't want to do that with your money. You're going to have to take time to develop new habits and new attitudes. That was a big challenge, right? You're not going to expect to see instant results. But consistency over time would create a new pathway for folks to succeed. Well, I want you to consider that same idea when it comes to LinkedIn. I want you to see LinkedIn not as a place just to make connections so you can celebrate how many connections you have, which is fun, I get it. But I want you to see LinkedIn not just as a place to prospect for new leads or new potential opportunities for you to sell a product or service to. I want you to see LinkedIn as a ripe soil or potable soil, if you will, soil that's going to take seed and take root. I want you to see LinkedIn as a great place to gain a great harvest, but it's not when you want it or how you want it. It's going to take time to develop that network. It's going to take time to lean into conversations with people. It's going to take time to be able to, if you do have a product or service to sell, for you to offer that value and add value to people. Because if we look at the law of value number one, or law number one, the law of value, it's not about how much you can sell somebody or how much money you could extract from someone's wallet. It's about, let's go back to that even. It's about how much value you add before you even take payment. Okay? And then law number two is about how many people you serve and how well you serve them. And so if we jump over to law three, the law of influence, it's about your influence is determined by how abundantly you place other people's interests first. And so I want you to consider focusing and targeting on sowing the right seeds with the right people for the right reasons with the right timing. We'll jump into that more in a second. But we have to let go of your timing. We have to let go of, I need someone to connect with me today. I need results for them today. I need to sell something with them today. I need to have an interview with that recruiter today. Some of that may be very well true, but it's not going to add a lot of value to the people that you're trying to influence. The kind of people that may hire you or find you useful in what their goals and dreams and ideas are. And so here we come together with law number three, is to really encourage you to put other people's interests first. So yes, connect with them, but don't start, for the love of God, don't just start leaning into your sales script and being able to start seeing what you can extract from them when you didn't even barely let the seed take root in the soil you just planted by making that connection. So I'm on my soapbox. Let me take a step down and let's get into how we can put the law of influence to work for us in our use of LinkedIn every day. So you may have heard that your value or your net worth is determined by the size of your network. Well, the best way you're going to grow your network and grow it efficiently and effectively is by adding value, by giving more value than what you can expect in payment, by seeking to serve those who need most with what you do best, by seeking to solve problems. So you may have heard that your net worth is going to be determined by your network. And I really can't think of a better place, both from as far as east is from the west, the north is to the south, to make a wide, expansive, multinational, multi-conglomerate, intergalactic network through LinkedIn. But how can you do that with the heart of a go-giver? Let's talk about that. Number one, we've set this up so well, change your attitude. You got to look at being expectant, being excited, being intentional, but not being superficial, not being over the top. I want it now. But changing your attitude to looking at these law of value, the law of compensation, the law of influence, and letting this go-giver mindset change your thoughts. Let it change your initial actions. Let it modify your habits over time and let those habits build a better identity. But it's got to start with your attitude. It's got to start with your thoughts and your mindset and your paradigm and how you go about your LinkedIn business, how you go about business at all, how you go about networking at all. So number one, how to be a go-giver with LinkedIn using the law of influence is to remember your attitude will breathe out your actions. Those actions get noticed. These habits get noticed, and all of a sudden you're that guy or gal with an identity that's saying, I want to take, not give. We want you to be a go-giver. Number two, I want to encourage you to ask different questions. Ask different questions of a couple of different people. One, yourself. Why are you on LinkedIn today? What are you hoping to get out of it? How are you going to let go of the old ways of doing things? What are some things you can learn from these lessons to apply your new identity as a go-giver into LinkedIn? Are there people that you can circle back with that maybe you didn't do it so well with? They'd probably be a great client prospectively. or maybe a great partner or a nonprofit donor, whatever the case may be. But maybe you went about it the wrong way. It's okay. There's no shame in that game to go back and apologize and go, you know what? I was a little heavy handed in how I went about getting to talk with you. If you'd be open to it, I'd like to start over and maybe just have a quick call or a quick video conference, or just exchange LinkedIn, hear about how you have problems in your certain job or your business or whatever you're doing right now. Don't lean into a whole sales pitch. Don't, please, for the love of Pete, do not ask me, are you there, Brian? Oh my gosh, are you serious? Now, some of those questions are just trying to prompt their message back up to the top of your queue. But goodness gracious, I think there's a way better way we can do it. We can all do better. We must do better for the sake of industry, right? I'm trying to make it maybe more dramatic than it should be. But you can set yourself apart by asking different questions, first of yourself and then of others. Hey, Joe, I see we're connected here on LinkedIn. I really appreciate it. How's it going in the chemical industry or the manufacturing industry, the teaching role you have, the nonprofit world you're in? If you're open to it, I think I may have some things that can serve you, or maybe there's some things that you can use to serve me. Just, are you open to a call? Are you open to a chat? Are you open to an email exchange? Hey, would you mind taking a look at my website? Make it short, make it sweet, and be direct, be respectful, ask the right questions, but do it in a way that's seeking to serve. For goodness sakes, know about that person. They've written their profile. It's right there in front of you. If it's accurate and up to date, you don't have to fish in with a bunch of superficial questions that you easily, if you would have taken a moment to read their profile, you could have gotten answers to. Don't be so dense to ask somebody if they're a business owner when my profile says I am. Right? I mean, yes, these are real world things. Just the other day, I got yelled at for saying, hey, well, apparently because you don't want to hear my sales pitch, you're really not into networking. No, I didn't need a 5-day email campaign or messaging campaign going out to me asking if I'm willing to make a change in my business when I don't even know who you are. Now, some of those things may land. Some cultures may be different, but I know for us here in the States, being authentic is the way to go. And that's a little tip for next week's, or a little insight, little teaser for next week's Go Giver Law number 4. But ask different questions, both of yourself and of others, as you go about your business on LinkedIn. Choose your words in your LinkedIn profile differently. I should say choose wisely your words, but to make the font size big enough and for it to fit in this slide, I just kept it to choose words in your LinkedIn profile. Choose the right words that are going to share with people that you're seeking to serve them. Words like serve, words like value adding, words like I solve problems, words like I'm open to the conversation, words like or statistics that show specifically how you've added value or how you've changed a business around or how you serve the specific client. Okay, choosing words in your LinkedIn profile that says you're a leader, right? Salesperson's nice, but they may not be the best word because unfortunately for some, because the way many people do it, sales can be an icky, yucky word when it should never be. Because honestly, I believe we're all in sales. And sales is simply transferring enthusiasm or being influential and using a product or service or a mindset or idea to help us get that done. So choose words in your LinkedIn profile. And by the way, little plug, the LinkedIn Quick Start Guide will help you set up what those words can be. And really make sure you're shining in this department. Okay, because words do matter. And they share your thoughts. Okay, don't come across like a jerk. Don't come across in a pompous way. Be first person and not third person. I see a lot of summaries written. It says, Brian Horvath is a speaker, consultant, and coach. No, it should be like, I am a speaker, consultant, and coach, seeking to serve people who need X, Y, Z. I help people solve problems through this kind of stuff. Okay? So choose words in your LinkedIn profile that will add value, that will show your heart of being a go-giver, that show that you're generous, and that you're up to date on the trends on the industry or whatever the case may be, okay? It's a lot to get into on this little short video, but there's some things that you can get help with within my Quick Start Guide, and of course some of the trainings and coaching I do, we dive into that even more. I want to encourage you to stop, drop, and invest. You remember that old fire thing in schools? If you see a fire, stop, drop, and roll, right? Be below the smoke. In this case, I want you to be above the fray of all the busyness and all the distractions in LinkedIn And just instead of looking to get, seek to serve. Be a go-giver. Invest in someone else today. Think about a coworker that you worked with that was on point, that you were just fired up to work with. You may be working with them now. This could be someone in the past. Or maybe think about a boss that really served you well. Think about a client that you just want to brag about their products and services and your interaction with them as a vendor. Whatever the case may be, go write a recommendation for somebody on LinkedIn. How you do that? You go to recommendations and you click a little plus and you can say write a recommendation for someone, or you can visit someone's LinkedIn profile and go down to the recommendation section and add a recommendation there. But just help someone shine today with how you interacted with them. Seek to serve by giving value through words. Okay, words of affirmation. And if you need help doing with that, all you got to do is be yourself. All you got to do is state with how you know Joe, how you work with Joe, how you're able to make a change effective with Joe, or what they did for you, or how they led you, or how they served you, or how you worked together. Just be real. And of course, you can always edit it. And if what happens is once you submit that recommendation, then the person you wrote it about or wrote it for will see it to approve it. And if they have a question for you or a comment for you or a request to change something, they can ask of you for a change. So maybe you had a misspelling, or maybe something wasn't accurate, or maybe they would love for you to say something a little different. Serve them, bless them, invest in them. That's a great way to seek others' interests, put others' interests ahead of your own. Invest in others today with a LinkedIn recommendation. Now, number 5 is follow divine intervention. What do I mean by this? Well, guys, I'm a person of faith. And what I mean about this is ask God for help. If you're a follower of Christ or have another faith, whatever the case may be, ask for help there. Ask God to be able to direct you to make the right connections on LinkedIn today. And then seek to serve Him. Seek to bless Him. And there's so many more things I can add to this, but I think these top 5 are great ways to be able to add value, to be a go-giver. Change your attitude. All right? Think about the legacy ladder. It starts with your attitude, starts with your thoughts. Discover how to ask different questions, both of yourself and of others on LinkedIn, or how you're going to use LinkedIn. Choose words in your LinkedIn profile wisely. Make changes if you need. Invest in others today, and then follow divine intervention. It's bigger than us, folks. It's not just about us. There's so many things that we need to consider, and I think God has a hand in LinkedIn. He wants you to be successful, so follow His way. So here we go. As we wrap up today's LinkedIn live Q&A, as far as the training portion, if you have questions, go ahead and put them in the chat box. Get them ready. If you don't have them, no big deal. If you're watching this recorded, put them in the chat box, put them in the comments, and or go to the, we'll have here for a second how you can go online and drop your question in my little online forum. But the law of influence says your influence is determined by how abundantly you place other people's interests first. And let me tell you, John Maxwell, great leadership guru, says leadership is influence. Nothing more, nothing less. Tag that onto the law of influence here, and you can abundantly serve others because you've got a go-giver mentality and attitude. This is huge. Accountability. I'd love to hear how you're doing. I'd love to hear how you were able to influence someone this week. Let me know. Let me know how you are serving people well in the marketplace, in your community, in nonprofit space, in education, in our military. And thank you, those that serve and bless and protect the United States of America. God bless you, and thank you for that sacrifice. But let me know how you're serving people well. Email me. This is my real email. I check it. It comes right to my phone, right to my inbox. Brian@brianhorvath.com. HORVATH.com. Email me how you are serving people, how you're using the law of value, the law of compensation, the law of influence. Let me know how you're doing. I appreciate it. Love to hear from you. And again, here's your LinkedIn Profile Quick Start Guide. The LinkedIn Profile Quick Start Guide, a 7-step guide to help you make the right connections on the world's largest professional network. It's free. It's for you. It's one page. BrianHorvath.com/LinkedIn-quick-start. It's fun. It's fun making a difference in your profile, something you can do right away. So if we have any questions, let's get those asked. I checked online. I don't see any. Let me go ahead and check LinkedIn. Sometimes LinkedIn doesn't bring in my questions or comments from from the platform, which I don't like, but it's the truth. Let me see if I got any questions here. I'd love to have you get those questions answered. So let's see here. Do we have any questions? I don't see any in the comments. I don't see any today. So if you have them, you can go ahead and go to, well, first of all, let me say get the book, The Go-Giver at Amazon or Barnes & Noble. Next week we'll have how to be a go-giver with LinkedIn. We'll talk about law number 4, which is the law of authenticity. I already talked to you a little bit about that. And let's jump over to, okay, here's where you get your question answered. If you have a question, you can get it answered at bit.ly/LinkedIn Ask Brian. We'd love to get that answered for you. You can ask that at any time, 24/7, 365. Our phones are open. No, I'm just kidding, not a telethon. But you can get your question answered. You'll get right to that form. Let me know your name, let me know your topic, and let me know your specific question. So again, this is sponsored by my LinkedIn Quick Start Guide. I'm Brian Horvath, and so thankful that you guys have been with me today to talk about how to be a go-giver with LinkedIn. Until next time, God bless you. We'll see you. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. If your kids are getting back to school, hopefully everyone's safe and healthy and ready to learn. And we'll talk to you next Wednesday, if not sooner. See you, everybody.